Hi, this is Dave Austad. This is my son Ryan. We want to thank you for shopping Austad's today. We are the oldest family-owned golf retail stores in America.
That's right, Dad. Since 1963, our family's really had one mission, and that's to help you all play better golf and have more fun on the course. And we know the best way that we can do that is to get you fit into the right equipment that's actually built for your game, your size, your skill level. So get online today, Austad.com, and if you haven't already done it, book your fitting appointment. We look forward to getting you in the clubs that are going to help you play better and have more fun. Thanks.
PGA professional Todd Copeland. Today I'm here at the Austad Tour Fitting Experience. I'm talking to Ryan Potts. Ryan is a master fitter with Austad's Golf, which everybody tells me you know a lot about club fitting. So I'm super excited to talk about club design. Today we're going to talk about specifically club design. And as a golfer, no matter what level you are, what you should kind of be looking for in club design. So first of all, let's educate me a little bit on when I say club design, what are we actually talking about?
Sure. Yeah, here at Austad's, obviously we have this wall here and we have every club that you can imagine. All the major manufacturers here. Some of the key things that we'll look at, we go through an interview process where we're really trying to dial in and figure out, what it is that the golfer needs. Are they looking for more distance, more forgiveness, looking for more workability, feel? We ask them questions to kind of figure that out.
Somebody comes in, they play very little golf, maybe once or twice a week. What type of design are they going to be looking for?
Sure. Yeah. In general, they're going to benefit from a golf club that probably is going to have a little bit more of a cavity to it. The cavity here in the back of the golf club, you can kind of see it's a little bit bigger. It has a little bit of an undercut. That weight is around the backside there. And what that's going to do for the golfers, it's really going to stabilize the golf club. It's going to allow them, they can get away with a little bit of mishits off the center, and they're going to notice the ball flight flies a little bit farther and it's going to stay on line better.
Okay, so if you're the type of golfer who maybe struggles getting the ball up in the air, maybe some directional problems, cavity design is what they should start with. But we all think we're a little better than we really are.
Yeah.
And so I have to ask you about the blade look, because there was a time and day when I could hit that, not anymore. But what guy or gal's looking for that? What are they going to get?
Yeah, this is for that expert, that low single-digit scratch golfer, or even that guy that's strictly looking for something that feel maybe a little lower ball launch based on where the weighting is located. It's a little higher center of gravity. We can change the lofts and get everything kind of dialed in.
Good option for them. And I would imagine real quickly it's probably pretty similar in the woods. I mean, there's manufacturers, but there's a couple different designs within that.
Exactly, yeah. So just like the irons, they're going to make different wood heads. Kind of the same thing. If you have that guy that maybe that chronic slicer misses to the right, we can move the weight a little bit more in a certain direction to kind of help correct that. Maybe you got a guy that's spinning the ball a little bit too high. We can find a head that's designed to kind of help that bring that ball flight down.
Well, I tell you what, I think the key takeaway here in this is that when you're looking at club design, it's not just the manufacturer, it's literally the design of the club. And as Ryan has said here, the key is getting the right set in your bag that matches your expectations, that matches your skill set, so that you can enjoy the game that much more. So hopefully this information helps you out. And I know we got more great stuff to come. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. Hello golfers, PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, and I'm here today at the Austad's Tour Fitting Experience. And Ryan, you're a master fitter here with Austad's Golf. We've had a chance to do some fun conversation today about a variety of things, but right now I want to talk about something that I think gets confusing for a lot of people, and that is shafts. Literally, like what type of shaft? I'm looking at your wall here, you got hundreds of shafts, and I know it's really a key component to being fit properly. When somebody comes in, what are we looking for when it comes to shafts?
Sure. Ultimately, the shaft is probably the thing that drives the golf club. If you think about a car, the transmission, the engine, that's what the shaft is. You're right. Here at Austad's, we do have hundreds of different shaft options. They're all going to kind of do specific things. So when we go through our interview process and the testing process with our golfers, We're trying to create a consistency. We have a couple tools here at Austad's to kind of help that process. Mizuno Shaft Optimizer is one of them. It's a way to kind of help us dial in, the starting point. That kind of gets us going in the right direction. And then as experienced fitters, we kind of tweak based on what the golfer's feeling.
So when it comes to shafts, are there 2 or 3 keys that you're looking for when fitting for a shaft? What are you really looking at?
Yeah, exactly. So, probably the biggest thing is the flex. A certain flex is going to fit, certain speeds, certain tempos. There's cases where some people that you might think would fit into a softer or a stiffer shaft. It's not always the case. Remember, it always comes back to consistency. So stiffness of the flex of the shaft is one of the more important ones.
Okay, so once we get them kind of dialed in for the right stiffness in the shaft, what would be the next thing in terms of the shafts that we're looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to look at the weight. There's a bunch of different weights. Some of your stronger players are probably going to benefit from a shaft that's got a little bit more gram weight to it. The senior or lady golfer or junior golfer, probably are going to need something a little lighter. Ultimately, it comes back to consistency. We're trying to create a nice tight shot cluster, a tight dispersion.
Yeah, and that's what I saw today as I kind of went through the process. I mean, not only was it very informative, but I could tell that with each one I got a little bit closer to what felt good to me. And when you get a fitting, make sure you do that. That's something that they do here at Austad on a regular basis. And hopefully this information helps you next time you walk in and get your fitting, and most importantly, helps you play better golf. Hello golfers, PGA professional Todd Kolb, and today I want to talk about club fitting and specifically the length of a golf club. And Ryan is a master fitter here with Austad's Golf. Ryan, I have to ask you to get this segment started right. I've heard of at least one tour professional who is playing with clubs that are all the same length. This is just fascinating to me. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the importance of club length and maybe why this individual is playing clubs that are all the same length.
It's an interesting concept. We found that by fitting people into those, they have allowed them to make a little bit more consistent swings. Pretty simple, one ball position, one swing with every golf club.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, obviously, I would think in theory, and this is what I want to ask you about. The longer the shaft gets, I know from a coaching standpoint, it gets a little bit more difficult to make good, solid contact. And so in theory, it kind of makes sense.
Obviously, everybody is built differently. We have tall individuals, short individuals. Probably the most important thing is to focus on the arm length.
Okay.
And then ultimately, when we get them back in the hitting bays, seeing how they set up to the ball too. But we'll take some measurements initially. We'll measure a knuckle to floor, wrist to floor, depending on manufacturer, to kind of give us a static starting point with the length. And then from there, we get them on the launch monitors, and we looked at the consistency. Will allow them to hit it more consistently.
And so if for the people, if they're playing and they got their set of clubs, they're out there, would there be 1 or 2 things that they might notice in their shot pattern or they might feel in their swing that would kind of be maybe a general indicator that maybe the clubs are the wrong length for them? Is there any common things?
Exactly, yeah. If the golf club is too long, sometimes we see people they may have a tendency to pull some shots, because that's going to make the golf club sit out a little bit more. It's going to kick that toe up in the air. If the golf club's too short, their posture is a little bit off. You can see shots kind of miss a little bit. Maybe you catch it a little low on the face. The shots come out a little bit low.
And when somebody comes in and does a fitting with you guys here at Austad's, I'm assuming obviously you check that out and then you build them or you order them to that length, or how does that?
Exactly, yeah. So, with our fitting tools like the wall behind us, we'll have shafts in those different lengths, and we'll test the different length based on some measurements. But we can either do it in-house or we order them from the manufacturers. They'll build them to the right specs.
Yeah. Well, whether you're a new golfer or a seasoned professional making a living with your name on your bag, like the gentleman you referenced here is always called the same length. Length is important.
It is.
Length is very important. So when you come here and you do a fitting with Austad's Golf, obviously it's one of the things they're going to check out. It's a really cool process. I had a chance to go through it today. And next time you buy a set of clubs, make sure they're the right length. And when you come here to Austad, you're certainly going to get that experience. Hello golfers, I'm PGA professional Todd Coben. Today we're talking about a topic that I know can be confusing to a lot of people. It is for me at times, and that's lie angle. I'm here at the Austad's Tour Fitting Experience. I'm with Master Fitter Ryan. Today we're talking about lie angle. I have to be honest, lie angle is, I hear a lot of people talk about it. I don't even know if I know what it is. I'm sure a lot of our people watching do not. First of all, what is lie angle?
Yeah, so lie angle is kind of the measurement of the angle of the shaft going down through the hosel of the golf club and extending out through the flat part of the sole of the club. And it's that angle that kind of determines, kind of the directional flight, or it can affect the directional flight of the ball taking off the face of the golf club.
So when the golf club sits down, I notice this even like with, because there's lie angles in all clubs, is that correct? I mean, because I see it in putters even, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
So it's the angle when the club sits on the ground, is whether or not the toe or the heel is kind of up or down. Is that it? Would that be in layman's term, the way we would describe that?
Exactly, yeah. So ideally, when we go through a fitting process here, we want to make sure that that golf club sits nice and flat. When we make a dynamic swing test, when we swing the club, we want that blade to be nice and flat at the ground. That's going to allow that ball flight to take off on a straight ball flight. If, for instance, our golf club would dig a little bit more on the toe side, what you might see is that face tends to kick open, and you'll see some shots missed to the right of the target. Okay. Vice versa, if the toe's up a little bit, that face shuts down, you can see shots go to the left.
Okay, so we're going to come in. So how are you going to check that? I mean, what's the process you might go through to check somebody's lie angle on their golf club to make sure it's correct?
Yeah, so a couple things. We use lie tape on the sole of the golf club. There's also another method that I like to use off the face, and it entails taking a few swings off of a board. It's going to leave us a black mark, and ultimately we want to see that black mark be in the middle of the face. Okay. The other method is on the face of the golf club. We're gonna look to make sure that we have a line that's straight vertical on the face. If we see it tilting one direction on the face, or if the mark is more toe or heel side, we know then that maybe we need to adjust the lie angle going either more upright or more flat.
Lie angle is something that sounds confusing, but as Ryan explained there, it's not as confusing. And most importantly, a couple things that I took away from there is making sure we're looking at what is the club doing at the moment of impact. If you're seeing some curve in your ball that you don't think should be there, or maybe some toe digs or heel digs, those are all things that would be indicator. If you come in here and you do a fitting with Ryan or any of the guys here, you're going to get that dialed in. You're going to definitely improve your golf game and certainly start hitting the golf ball a little bit straighter. Hello golfers, PGA professional Todd Coben. Today we're talking about grip size, and I'm here at the Austad's Tour Fitting Experience. I'm with Master Fitter Ryan. Ryan, when we talk about grips, people think of just different styles of grips, but man, we've got width, we've got different types, different colors, you name it. When it comes to fitting, what are we looking for?
Yeah, so you're right. There are all kinds of different brands, different textures, different feels. And when we go through our fitting processes, we're going to take some measurements. We're going to measure hand size. We're going to ask questions. Does the individual have a little arthritis in their hands? Those measurements and some of those things, we can change the grip. Make sure that the grip fits them properly. They're comfortable with it. You got to remember, this is what you're controlling the golf club with. So you want to have that comfortable feel in your hands.
And it's the one place that we actually attach ourselves to the golf club. It's where we hold it. And I think that a lot of people they come in, they think a grip is a grip, but it's not. I've always heard that if people's grip is maybe too thick, that they might have a struggle releasing the golf club and might fade the ball. And if it's too skinny, they might hook it. I mean, what does your experience tell you on that?
Yeah, we do see that a lot. Guys that have bigger hands, or we see a lot of ladies that have longer fingers. If the grip is too small, when they get it when they wrap it, they do tend to over rotate the face of the golf club. They'll see shots kind of move to the left. Those guys that have bigger hands, that bigger grip feels more comfortable, allows them to square the face up a little bit better.
you got a couple different styles here. I mean, just walk me through some different examples of what somebody might be looking for when they come to picking out a grip.
Yeah, so, some of these grips, have different materials. Some will be rubber, some will have a little bit of a cord texture to them. They're all going to kind of be specific to allowing you to do certain things. A typical wrap style of grip is going to have a softness to it, gonna have some nice tackiness. It's a very popular option. Guys that maybe their hands tend to sweat. We're in the Midwest here where it gets humid in the summers. A grip that's got a little bit of that cord texture in it will allow them to control the golf club a little bit better. There's some other grips that kind of have a combination of both, where they have a little bit of cord at the top for the glove hand. And a little softness towards the bottom. The biggest thing is making sure that your hands are in a proper position, the grip diameter is right, comfortable with the feel.
So don't underestimate when you come in and do a fitting that you got to get the right grip size, it's the right texture, it's those types of things. It's an important part of playing good golf, and it's an important part of the fitting process, something they do every time they do a fitting here at Austad's. Hello golfers, I'm PGA Professional Todd Kolb, and today we're talking about the gapping in your bag, or filling in the spaces in your golf bag so you can actually get out there and play the best golf you're capable of. I'm here at the Austad's Tour Fitting Experience. I'm with Master Fitter Ryan. Ryan, first of all, I hear this word gapping, I hear this word spacing. What does that have to do with golf? Educate us.
Yeah, so gapping is basically the breakdown of all the clubs that are in your golf bag. Certainly we have an upper end with our drivers, fairways, hybrids, and a lower end with wedges. We want to make sure that we're getting the proper yardages throughout the entire bag. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to hit their driver, a fairway, and a hybrid or iron differently. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we have 14 clubs in the bag. We want to make sure that we're filling those spots properly. We'll look at the trajectory that they're hitting their long irons, let's say. Let's say they're coming out a little too low. We need to add a hybrid or something in there to make sure that launch is getting up there in a proper trajectory. That way they're achieving their target yardage.
So what about on like the like in the wedge area and stuff like that? When we talk about gapping and spacing, is there kind of a general rule of thumb, like what's the degree differences or? Right,
yeah. So, most of your pitching wedge lofts nowadays range anywhere from 43 to 46 degrees of loft, okay? So when we're progressing through those additional wedges beyond that, whether it's the gap wedge, the sand wedge, the lob wedge, we want to make sure that we're kind of getting equal degrees between each one of those. 4 to 6 degrees is a pretty good number. If we're not hitting those proper gaps, you're going to create larger distances between those clubs that are very important. Those are your scoring clubs. Those are the ones where you're going to tend to use more often than not.
And I want everybody to pay special attention to what Ryan just said there, because this is very important. Is just because it says 8 iron, 9 iron, pitching wedge, just because those numbers are on there, that does not mean that the degrees or the spacing is equal. So how do you actually check we can, you can see how far the ball goes with the launch monitors, things, you can see the trajectories. How do you actually then have a machine or something that checks the loft on it and then you adjust that, or how does that work?
Yeah, so our launch monitor technology actually takes 13 different images of the ball flight at impact, and so we can see, making sure that dynamic loft is proper. We're looking at spin rates. There's kind of an optimum trajectory that we want to try to hit with each one. And the software that we have here at Austad will kind of help us through that process.
So once again, the importance of the interview process at the beginning, I know that Ryan has touched on a couple times, they do here at Austad, is a key component. Understanding your game, making sure you've got the right spacing, the right gaps in your bag, key component of playing good golf. Great information right there. Hopefully this information helps you not only play better golf, but enjoy the game a little bit more. Today we're going to talk about something that I guarantee is going to improve your putting. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, and I'm here at the Austad Tour Fitting Experience, and I'm with Master Fitter Ryan. And Ryan, I am excited to talk about this because as an instructor, the thing that I see people come in the most often where their clubs are off is their putter. It drives me crazy. So this is going to be a great segment. Tell us a little bit about putter fitting and kind of some of the things that they're going to learn when they come in here with you.
Here at Austad's, we carry all the major manufacturers, all the different putters out there, the different putter shapes, the blade styles, the mallet heads. We're going to take you through the fitting process, making sure that we're getting you into the right length. Lie angle again with the golf club, how it sits down is important. How the club kind of swings with their natural stroke.
And I do know when you work with somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to fitting, you can actually help people stroke by getting them into one of the styles that you talked about. I mean, I know like as a beginner golfer, you know, we'll tend to recommend more of a face balance type. But if somebody's cutting their putts, maybe one that's got a little bit more toe swing. Would you agree with that? Or
yeah, exactly. You know, when we look at the length and where they're positioning their eyes is another big thing.
Yeah.
You know, that can kind of affect the way that they stroke the ball.
So one of the things that's a little bit about the designs of them. Length, okay? I mean, I want to get your opinion on this. My feeling is that it's better to have a putter that's a little too short than too long. I think maybe because we see so many kids come in, or you know, they get dad's putter, or the wife has a hand-me-down putter, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the putter's too long. I think, you know, what do you see?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we have a lot of golfers who come in where the putters, you know, their hands are at the end and they set away from the ball a long way. What that's going to do, you're really going to see some inconsistencies on getting that ball to start on the correct path. Yeah. You look at the best putters in the world, they have their eyes pretty much directly over top the ball or maybe just slightly inside. And that's kind of where the length comes into play as well.
And I think that, I mean, this is one advice that I would give everybody watching this, and this is important, is that if you spend money and get a good quality putter and get fit for it, you may have that putter your entire life. I've had the same putter for 20 years.
Exactly, yeah. You know, if you think about it, if you look at the round of golf that you play, add up the number of strokes that are on the putting green. The majority of your strokes are right there. You want to make sure that that putter is working right for you. You want to make sure that head model is the one that fits your eye. You want to make sure that the length is right to make sure that your stroke is consistent. And then, you know, the grip too. You know, we're here at Austad's. We're here to help you, you know, through that process to find that right flat stick.
Well, I know, my fellow golfers, I know distance sells clubs. I know distance is exciting, but if you want to play better golf, if you want to shoot lower scores, you have to putt better. Spend a few dollars, get in, get a fitting, get a good putter in your hands. It's the best investment you'll make, and definitely is going to not only improve your game, but it's going to lower your scores, and you're going to find it's the best investment you probably made in your equipment. Hello golfers, I'm PGA professional Todd Kolb. Today we're going to talk about something related to fitting that I know a lot of people do not think about. I'm here today at the Austad Tour Fitting Experience. I'm with Master Fitter Ryan. Ryan, I'm telling you, a lot of people when they think of fitting, they think of clubs, putters. They don't think about the golf ball, and it's the one thing that they use literally on every shot. Tell us about the importance of being fit for the right golf ball.
Exactly, yeah. So, you know, there's all kinds of different options out there. There's golf balls that are multi-layers, you know, 2-piece, 3-piece, 4, some even 5-piece. They're all going to kind of do a different thing, and they're all going to benefit a golfer in a certain way. And, you know, when we go through the fitting process, you know, we're going to, find out what it is that they're currently using. Yep. We're going to utilize the data in our fitting centers here that will show us spin rates, shows us launch and everything. And if we see something that might make it a little bit easier to get the ball in the air or fly a little bit lower, we'll make some suggestions based on those different golf balls.
So what would you tell a person who comes into they're a golfer and they think, hey, a golf ball is a golf ball?
Some of the key things, just, do you want the ball to perform to the max, or are you price conscious,
Yeah.
we have all different options here, and we can get you into the one that'll help you play better.
I thought one of the things, as I've been going through the fitting process and had a lot of people come through here, that is really unique is the fact that when you do a fitting, you actually get to use the golf ball that you use when you play golf. That just simply is not the case when you do a standard fitting on a driving range and you're using a range ball. Now that you said that, I can't imagine ever doing a fitting anymore using a range ball, because I don't play with a range ball.
Exactly, and that's going to give us the exact information or data that we need, to make sure, we have the clubs to fit, but we want to make sure this little white ball, or in some cases colored golf ball, stops around the hole more consistently, feels good around the greens, and flies a little bit straighter off the tee.
And so I think that the other thing is that when it comes to like fitting for a ball, do you typically start with like the driver, or do you work like around the green? Or I mean, is there a process, or is it completely based on the individual?
Yeah, so indoor fittings, we'll be able to test with different clubs, whether it's the wedges, the irons, the drivers. And I like to have them start from the green and kind of work their way back. Start on the putting green. If the softness of the golf ball is important, we'll get something that feels good there. If we need to, we'll move back to those scoring clubs, those wedges, those short irons, make sure that ball is flying and stopping in their yardages. And then ultimately off the tee, we want something that's going to allow them to hit straighter, longer drives as well.
Well, when it comes to fitting, of course, everybody's thinking clubs and shafts, all those types of things, but the golf ball is an integral part of that. Great information. I know this is going to help a lot of our golfers out there.